Hey everyone, my name is Kevin. Today I'm going to tell you about Acorns, the investing app that helps you invest your spare change. Now I make videos like this all the time about personal finance and money, so if you like that sort of thing, subscribe to the channel, and if this video helped you out, be sure to give it a like. Now let's jump into it. So if you don't already know by now, investing is incredibly important. If you're looking to retire at some point in the future, you will need investments to be able to carry yourself through retirement. Just think of the richest people that you know. Chances are they made their money primarily or secondarily with investments. Taking a quick look at the Forbes 400 can really tell you how powerful investing can be. Just look at people like Warren Buffett or Carl Icahn, people who have made their wealth because they've been successful in investing. Investing is very powerful, especially if you do it earlier on. But for those who don't know a lot about investing, it can seem a little daunting to get going at first. If you don't know exactly what the difference between a stock and a bond is, and you're not exactly sure how to begin investing, you just know that you want to begin, I think that apps like Acorns could be of significant benefit to you. So what is Acorns? Well, Acorns is an investing app. It's primarily known for its feature that allows you to invest your spare change. So what do I mean by this? Well, Acorns has a feature on their app where you can link your checking account and any of your credit cards to that account. And every time you use a transaction with your credit card, it'll actually draw from your checking account an amount of money equal to the difference between what you spent and what the nearest roundest dollar above that amount really is. So for example, if you go to Chipotle, like I do all the time, far too much, and you purchase a burrito and it costs you $7.15 and you have Acorns selected on there to round up your spare change, well, it'll actually round up that $7.15 all the way to $8 and take that 85-cent difference from your checking account and it'll transfer it into your Acorns investing account. The key feature behind Acorns is essentially this. It's very simple, but as you can see, it can be very powerful. A little bit here and there can add up. That's the basic philosophy behind the invest to spare change aspect of Acorns. This feature has actually been so successful that the Wall Street Journal has written about Acorns as one of the key things getting millennials involved in investing. It's a very powerful thing because it's gotten millions and millions of people who otherwise ordinarily wouldn't invest interested in investing because it's so simple to do. So you may be thinking, okay, they take my money and they invest it in an account, but where are they investing it? How are they doing it? Well, that's the second feature of Acorns. If you go on their app, you'll be able to select from your risk tolerance what kind of portfolio that you want to be invested in. If you're the kind of person who's a little bit more conservative, you'd rather give up some gains in order to be sure that you're protected in a downturn, you could select the conservative portfolio on the Acorns app. If you're somebody who wants to just swing for the fences and go for a much more aggressive approach and aren't afraid of having as much volatility in your portfolio, you'll select the aggressive approach. And if you're somewhere in between, they've got portfolios tailored to you. Scrolling through the app for Acorns and looking online, it can really tell you how simple a lot of these portfolios can be, but they're very, very powerful. They've been crafted by a team of experts based upon a different selection of risk tolerance and volatility and diversification in order to give people a different level of investing that's much more simple than a lot of the other products out there. So what exactly are these portfolios? Well, it's just a different combination of stocks and bonds depending on what your risk tolerance really is. And these stocks and bonds are offered through index funds, which is actually what you're investing in those portfolios. So what is an index fund? It's essentially a basket full of a bunch of different companies to give you a lot of diversification. You essentially don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket, in one stock. And so what an index fund does is it gives you broad-based diversification among hundreds or even thousands of different companies. Because one of the key rules in investing is diversification and not putting all of your eggs in one basket, these portfolios offered by Acorns are so powerful because they give you diversification in a bunch of different index funds in that portfolio itself. So as you can see, you'll be able to invest instantaneously with a little bit of change into literally thousands of different companies and thousands of different combinations of stocks and bonds. This is going to give you a lot of downside protection in and of itself because you're not going to be bearing the risk of any one particular company losing a ton of value and then you losing a lot of your money. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I was an investor and I had invested in one of these gold mining companies that I thought were going to be the next hot thing. Well, it turns out I woke up one day and one of the mines of the gold mining companies actually shut down. They determined that it was no longer viable to mine and it wasn't going to be producing any gold. And instantaneously, I lost 25% of value in my holdings in that company, which meant that I lost a few $1,000s. I was definitely foolish when putting that much money, especially at the time, into one particular company, and I suffered the consequences of not having sufficient diversification. So when you're invested in one of these portfolios, you're gonna have instant diversification. You're not gonna suffer the problems that I had picking one individual stock, which is great because if you want to build some wealth over time, you can't afford to have those giant 25% downswings in your portfolio. That's going to scare you because oftentimes when that happens to people psychologically, they're going to want to sell, they're going to want to get cash, and that's definitely what you don't want to do. When the market in general is going down, you want to buy more of the broad market, and so when it rides up, you're going to make more money. And if you're investing all in one particular stock, it may never go up. But if you're invested in a broad-based index fund, in a broad basket of securities, you're probably going to do pretty well over time. So with all that being said, Acorns is not free. They do charge money. In fact, for the Acorns Core, the thing I talked about where it swept your spare change into the investment account and automatically invested it for you, that'll cost you $1 every single month. Now, when Acorns first came out, when I first started evaluating it, I thought this was a little gimmicky and I didn't really feel good about recommending a company that charged people $1 per month, because while that may not seem like very much money, if you're investing just a little bit of your spare change every single month, you may not have a lot of money in that account, and that $1 can actually amount to a very high percentage of your balance in your investment account. For example, if you go like me and you get Chipotle, let's say hypothetically 10 times a month, and you get 10 cents every time it rounds up your transaction, that could be $1 per month that you're investing. But if it's costing you $1 to have this Acorns account, well, you're essentially not investing anything at all, because it'll wipe out any amount that you saved, leaving you with no money at all and actually a net negative when you consider that you swept that money and Acorns now has it. However, I will say that this $1 per month that they charge you does not go up with the more money that you have in the account. This can be a great thing, because the more money you have in the Acorns account, you're still going to be paying that $1, which means that the percentage of money you're paying Acorn relative to your investment account is going to be less and less. For example, if you had $1,000 in the account and it's $1 per month, well, that's going to be 1.2% of the amount of money that you have invested in there, because it's $1 every single month. That's $12 a year, $12 in 1,000. It's 1.2%, which is not terrible. And if you have 10,000, it's only 0.12%, so on and so forth. However, it also is worth noting that it's not only the $1 you're paying Acorns, you're also going to be paying expense ratios on those index funds we talked about earlier, the broad basis of securities that you have in your portfolio that you're being invested in. However, they are offered by BlackRock and Vanguard. Those are the actual index funds you're investing in, and those are going to be really, really cheap. It's only about 10 basis points or 0.1% on average for those expense ratios, which is a good thing. So my overall takeaway of Acorns is that if you're new to investing and you're looking to get into the game, but you don't exactly know how to start and you want just a little bit of push, Acorns can be a good way to start. While that $1 per month you're going to be paying Acorns as a percentage of the assets you may have initially may seem like a lot, and trust me, it is, and you don't want to do that for the long term, it can be a very, very cheap price to pay in order to get you interested in investing. Because chances are, when you're interested in investing, you're going to learn a little bit more. And once you learn a little bit more, you're going to invest a little more, and you're going to be much wealthier over time. Don't be like me and have to learn the hard way by losing literally thousands of dollars on one bad bet. Take it with Acorns and invest just $1 per month to get yourself invested, if that's going to be what it takes. Acorns does offer a few other products out there, such as the ability for you to open an IRA with them, which will cost you an additional $1 per month. So your total amount between Acorns Core and that IRA function are going to be about $2. And they do also have a checking account, which you can get for an additional $1 per month, bringing your total to about $3 per month. My takeaway from the IRA is that you're better off just learning how to invest initially with Acorns Core and then moving on to an IRA with a company like Vanguard, which I have videos on and I highly recommend you checking out. And as far as a checking account is concerned, I do not recommend going with Acorns for $1 per month, because frankly, you can get other checking accounts for free that offer you substantially better rewards than Acorns does. For example, one account that I've been really high on is the SoFi Money account. It offers you a pretty decent interest rate, and you can get going with no fees at all, no fees of any sort, and you can have no ATM fees. And I have a whole video on that if you want to check it out. The Acorns checking account, as compared to your traditional banks like Bank of America and Chase, may seem like a good deal because it's only $1 per month versus Chase and Bank of America, which can be $12 or $14 a month. But overall, you're better off going with a different checking account like SoFi. So my overall takeaway of Acorns is that I think it's a pretty decent account for people to get if you're just new to investing. If you're a little bit more sophisticated, I'd recommend going with other investing apps. I made a video on it and I recommend checking some of those out. I'd also like to mention that for those who are a little bit skeptical of going with an investing app as opposed to a traditional bigger bank like Chase or a more established firm like Fidelity, I just say that Acorns is a reputable company. It is backed by some of the biggest names in investing, such as BlackRock, and it's also backed by a lot of high-profile celebrities like J-Lo and A-Rod and Ashton Kutcher, if that means anything to you. There are a lot of other features to Acorns that I also would like to mention, such as the fact that they have articles online which help you learn a little bit more about investing, which I highly recommend, because the more you learn about investing, the more you're probably going to invest in the future and take control of your finances, which is incredibly important to do. Acorns does have other features as well online, which are also worth talking about, and I'll put in the description below, such as the ability to find money, so to speak, which are essentially just deals you get by using the Acorns app. But by and large, these are de minimis and not really the reason why most people get Acorns. So overall, I think Acorns offers a pretty good value for those who are just beginning in investing. $1 a month is a very cheap price to pay if it gets you interested in investing and gets you to invest a lot more in the future. You're gonna earn a lot more in the future if you begin investing earlier on than if you waited, and that $1 is probably worth it. I'd say this especially as compared to other brokers out there, even the discount online brokers such as Ally or Charles Schwab. Those firms will cost you a few dollars to make trades every single time. And if you only have $10 or $50 to invest at a time, that can be a pretty significant amount of money, especially when you're looking at Acorns, which will sweep your money into broad-based index funds and get you involved and get you interested from the get-go with a pretty cheap price. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on Acorns, and if it's an app that you would recommend to your friends, or if it's an app that you think is a little bit gimmicky and charges you money and you don't really like it. Let me know in the comments below. I really want to know. Also, let me know if you want to know on any other videos. I do reviews like this all the time, so if you like it, consider subscribing, and if this video helped you out at all, be sure to give it a like. Now, I'll see you next time. Thanks.